Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the weekly report. Tyranny in the UK. Can it happen here? As the UK descends into tyranny, where just retweeting something the government doesn't like can land the person a multi-year jail sentence, Americans are wondering, can it happen here? After all, we have the guarantees of the First Amendment. But while we shake our heads at UK authorities jailing people for their social media posts this past week, we should not kid ourselves. The answer is that silencing dissent can happen here, and it is happening here. Here are just 3 recent examples of how the deep state, or the permanent government, is conspiring to restrict political dialogue in the United States. First is the revelation that former U.S. Representative and former U.S. presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard has been placed under the bizarrely named Quiet Skies program. As reported by journalist Matt Taibbi, based on revelations by TSA whistleblowers, this July, Gabbard was flagged as a terror threat, and every time she travels, her boarding pass is marked so that she is pulled aside for extensive screening. According to the whistleblowers, Gabbard is unaware she has 2 explosive detection canine teams, 1 transportation security specialist, explosives, 1 plainclothesman TSA supervisor, and 3 federal air marshals on every flight she boards. As Gabbard herself revealed recently on the Laura Ingraham show, a few weeks ago I had the audacity to tell the truth, that Kamala Harris would essentially be a mouthpiece and puppet of the military-industrial complex and national security state. The next day, July 23rd, they retaliated. Sadly, this is what we can expect from the Harris administration. Next, we have the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. It seems every day brings a new revelation that calls into question whether the massive failure to protect the Republican presidential candidate was just an honest mistake. We know from 1963 what can happen to presidents who cross the deep state, and we know from Trump's 4 years in office how former deep state officials can conspire to undermine the presidency with lies like Russiagate. Finally, we have the case of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Up until the Trump assassination attempt, the Biden-Harris administration refused to provide the independent presidential candidate with Secret Service protection. RFK Jr. has consistently and effectively criticized not only the current administration, but the deep state itself while out on the campaign trail. Even though there were credible threats against him on the campaign trail, the Biden-Harris administration refused to budge for months. Why? Did they want to silence him? The U.S. government learned an important and dangerous lesson from COVID. All you have to do is crush the political dissent, is to use the weight of the government to force the private sector to do the censoring for you. It is only a half step away from forbidding us from expressing our thoughts on a virus to sending us to prison for expressing other thoughts the government does not like. And maybe worse, there may be a reaction in the UK to the brutality of the Starmer regime. We can only hope for their and our sake that the reaction will be a newfound determination by the people that no government should have the authority to shut them up or jail them for their political views. To paraphrase Benjamin Franklin, free speech if you can keep it. Thanks for listening.